Alright, this should be a fairly quick video. I got a phone call this morning from one of my guys out in Charles City. Apparently the video I put up from the Floyd County Museum, there was one little snippet in there, a comment that was made that kind of upset some people. I did nothing. Nobody, at least the way it was conveyed to me in the phone call, nobody was mad at me, and nobody's really mad at anybody specific. It just sounds like there were some feelings a little bit hurt, mostly because of the lack of pretext for the comment. So I wanted to make this video real quick to put the pretext in for the comment. I didn't want to take the video down and edit that little piece out and then put it back up, because then that kills the video stats, and then when you kill the video stats, it kills the video exposure, and that video's been doing fairly good, and I don't want to kill the statistics on it, because YouTube, you kill the statistics and you basically kill the video. So I wanted to put this video up to add some pretext. So basically, when we were going down, I think it was when we were going down in the basement for the first time, and Scott made the comment of the kind of state of disarray of the Oliver Archive stuff. And I didn't know until this morning a lot of the pretext to this, so the entire Oliver Archive project came around. It was basically dumped in the museum's lap. They basically got a phone call one day during the AGCO buyout that said, hey, we've got all this stuff. If you want it, come get it, and come get it now, or we're trashing it. So I believe they went from a phone call to trucking lined up, and I think the trucking was, I don't want to make an incorrect statement, but they had trucking lined up, they had volunteers lined up, they went and got the stuff, and they had it all back to the museum, and I think they did it in less than 2 weeks, if I remember right. It's been a long time since I read the story. So part of the reason, and I think I commented on this a couple times in the Charles City video, part of the reason that it was in the state of disarray it was when Scott got there, because Scott came before McKenna, and then McKenna's their new director. When Scott got there was because they had no time to organize anything. They went and got it, put it in a semi, brought it back, unloaded it from a semi, and stuffed it in whatever hole they could find to stuff it in. So that's why it was in the state that it was when Scott got there. And Scott was actually only hired on a 6-month grant. The initial intent was not for him to be a full-time staff member like he currently is. So, but the feelings got hurt because there's one crucial name that didn't get mentioned, and that's Maryann Townsend, who was the previous director. She was basically 100% instrumental in making sure that all that stuff got taken care of. Without her, it probably never would have ended up there to begin with. And at the time when she was director, the museum funding they were basically working on a shoestring budget. They basically had enough money to keep the lights on and maintain a small staff. Everything else was done on a very small donation stream and a few volunteers. Because this was also back when that whole thing took place. The HPOCA was just getting started. They didn't have 2 feet to stand on. The Moline collectors were, there was no nationwide organizations that were funneling donation money and doing fundraising for the museum. Most people at that time probably didn't even know that the Floyd County Museum existed, at least in the tractor world. So she basically did the absolute best she could to keep water bailed out of a sinking ship and make sure that the light stayed on and the archives were being taken care of, and she got the process started. And then as time went on, we started to see organizations like the HPOCA and stuff that got the word out about the museum and about the archives and started to do fundraising and get donations. And then you started seeing things like build cards, because before, up until fairly recently, probably like within the last 8-10 years, if you called out there for a build card, it might take you a couple weeks to get it back, because they literally just had boxes full of build cards that were completely unorganized, and they'd have to go through and dig through every single build card until they found yours. It's not like they weren't organized like they are now, where you can just file through a tractor model and find it and pull it out in 10 minutes. But that was because of lack of funding. Maryann was 100% instrumental in laying the base, or laying the foundation for that museum and that Oliver archive to turn into what it's turned into today. She retired 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And it might not have even been that long ago, because I think it was right before COVID. But anyway, they were not able. I'm pretty sure it was right at the beginning of COVID, because they weren't able to give her the send off that she deserved because of COVID crap. And now her health finally gave out, and she's passed away just somewhat recently. So that was where that was what ruffled some feathers, is because that comment about the disarray of the archive room was made without any pretext as to the fact that it was the way it was because they didn't have the funds to make it what it is now. But I can't press it home enough that Maryann was the reason it is what it is now. So she's the one that started fundraising projects. And now she's not here. So, but I just wanted to put this up as an addendum to the original Floyd County Museum video, to try to calm the waters a little bit and make sure that it is known that just didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of people involved, and it took a lot of time and a lot of fundraising to get it where it is today. And it still, obviously, as we saw, still has a ways to go, and it takes more money and more volunteers and more time. And it's a slow process when you just have a bunch of boxes dumped off that says, here, do with it what you wish. So hopefully this does enough to give you the backstory, a little bit of it. There's a lot more to it than what I am willing to, or than what I am able to convey, because I don't know the whole backstory. Next time we go out there, maybe we can get McKenna to give us the full backstory from A to B about. That way everybody knows this is how it happened, this is why it came out the way it came out. But I was not trying, when I put that video up, I was not intentionally looking to put anybody out or make sure or not include any information because I didn't know it myself. But like I say, there was no. It sounded like, because when I did that video, I made comments about the fact that it was all just thrown at them, and I made comments to counter some of the stuff that was said, and there were positive comments that came from the gentleman that called me, that people were glad that I put those comments in to give a little bit of insight. So I'm just trying to help. That's all I'm trying to do. I'd like to see that museum succeed, and I'd like to see it turn into what it deserves to be. So hopefully this video does some good, and so yeah. With that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.